Two strong teams for a first pre-season game. You know, you don't usually see them going as strong as that, especially after the World Cup. I thought City started well, but they just looked that little bit sharper. You know, you can tell they've maybe been back a week or two before training. They've already had a game under their belt. But I think from City's point of view, it's been okay. Scored a really good goal. I think Semenyo is finishing off or starting where he finished off last season. And look, the most important thing is just no injuries and making sure that'll be a really good 45 minutes under their belt.
I guess that's important, isn't it, for us to, you know, I think, remember, we always want to see City win, but this whole kind of next week is just about Enzo trying out new things, players getting up to speed, and I guess this is vital time regarding the result. Kind of doesn't matter in these games, does it, Steph?
Yeah, I think there's perspective, isn't it, when it's the beginning of a pre-season, and I think we all want to win. We all want to win the cup at the end of the game, and but like what Paul said, I think it's about just players getting back into the swing of things. I think you've seen Semenyo looks as though he's on form straight away. You like Fooney's first start, playing left back, that left-hand side's been really kind of dangerous. And of course, Inter Milan are always going to provide you with a tough game, but it's just about getting it in the legs. And I think sometimes, as a player, you've probably trained really hard this week to then play your first 45 minutes. You can feel your legs are a little bit heavy. The pitch looks a bit kind of heavy as well. Yes. So the conditions are not going to suit us, but that's all part and parcel. But I think as long as we're trying to do the right thing and we're trying to do what the manager wants the lads to do, I think that's the main thing in pre-season. Was there anything we noticed? Maybe I think Ali even said it in commentary, starting to get a little hint of a bit of Enzo being, you know, sprinkled onto this Manchester City team? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it looks as if the way we set up, we want to dominate the middle of the park, you know, but because of that, there's so many bodies in there now as well. You know, Rico's, although he's on paper it looks right back, he's sort of playing right in alongside Kovacic a lot of the time, with then Reinders and Phil in front of them with that box four that Pep used to like to do sometimes as well. But it's so congested in the middle, you know, you've got to use the wide players when it's like that as well. So just a few little bits and pieces, but nothing too much. I don't think Enzo will be that bothered at the minute as well. You know, I keep saying it, the main thing is just getting the minutes under their belts and seeing the little tactical things that he's trying to implement into them, just to see if they work or not. Yeah. Looking into this, obviously, we're going to I think we can look back at the goals as well. We had this first one as well. This brilliant one came from Semenyo. I mean, as you said, Steph, he's been on fire. Yeah, he really has, and I think on that left-hand side is a position that we haven't really seen him too much for City, and mainly because of how well Doku did last season. But I think I love the fact that he's so direct. Yeah. He's taken on his full back, and we've got like 5 bodies in the box, 4 or 5 bodies, and the edge is secure as well. And a great first goal and a great cross, and being in the right place at the right time, and a perfect start. And I think the start was important. I think we had the intention to be full of energy, to press, to really be attacking. And I think one thing that I maybe noticed is that we're all right playing a little bit longer. We can maybe miss out the midfield unit to go into our forward players, whereas predominantly through Pep we try and play through midfield quite a lot, but actually missing out players and being able to play up to our striker who can hold it up will be a tactic that we can use in the Premier League for sure. Obviously then Inter Milan get themselves back into it with this goal. We can have a look here. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 times they just got a little bit of an overload on our right-hand side, their left-hand side. I think Andy mentioned in commentary that Rico sometimes, when he's back in that right-back position, looks as if he's over-covering a little bit in the centre-halves, where maybe he can give himself another couple of yards, because, you know, that did happen 2 or 3 times in the space of 10 minutes when DeMarco was pretty free down there. But it's little teasing things, you know, that's always going to happen. I'm sure Enzo would rather they're making mistakes like that now, so it gives him time to work in it. It's as well as your body getting in a way to your mind, and it's like thinking about, OK, switching on, because when you're in that stage in pre-season with your first 45 minutes, you're more concentrating on your body and how your legs are feeling rather than what the opposition are doing. And I think that might be a case of just getting back into it, being aware of what's going on. And when you're playing very good players as well, they're going to hurt you. Yeah, it can be tough. That first pre-season game, the first couple can be tough. You know, and I'm not going to say that there'll be more, but they're travelling a long way, the heat, the humidity. They probably work harder in training than what they do in the pre-season games as well. Yeah.
You know, so they're going into the games probably feeling a bit leggy and a little bit tired as well because their body's not up to speed yet.
Yeah, I think we're hopefully going to be able to hear from pitch side. Can we go and hear from FG Scott and Sean Wright Phillips? No, we can hear from Amos though. Amos, what are your thoughts on the first 45 minutes?
Well, I'm sorry for everyone who was expecting the actual the big dogs there, and you got me instead.
We're much better having you, Amos.
It was like you said before. It was pre-season 101, really, wasn't it? It started off really frantically, I thought, and then the players remembered, you know, actually we are professionals and we probably have to put our foot on the ball and try and add a bit of structure to it. It felt like a bit of a schoolyard game at the beginning. I agree with the Semenyo shouts. I thought he's looked really good on that left-hand side. A string in his bow, perhaps we could see that in the upcoming season. Savinho's been bright as well. As for the perceived negatives, I think it's all mitigating circumstances. You centre-back partnerships, both of them at the World Cup. In Gvardiol's case, obviously, has just come back from an injury as well. There's no real ball winner in midfield. Obviously, Rodri isn't available. Elliot Anderson isn't available. So that maybe makes that sort of situation explained. But yeah, just really sort of interesting to see a couple of the setups. Obviously, the fullbacks, I think, have a lot of attention on them heading into the new season. What's Maresca going to do with that? And just an overall interesting 45 minutes, I guess.
As we're moving into this second half of 45 minutes, Steph, what are you expecting to see? A wholesale changes, do you reckon?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you can see all the players were just about to go and warm up, and that is what you've got to do in pre-season, is give everybody the minutes that they need to get right up to speed with it. And I think that changes the rhythm of the game. You've got new players that probably not really experienced these conditions before, but I think it's just an opportunity for people to actually really stamp down what they want to do this season and just get them all in important minutes in the legs.
We saw the bench, Paul. Who are you excited then to see who's going to come on into this second half?
I think a couple of them, not so much obviously the younger boys that we spoke about, but Echeverry. You know, I'm really excited, even when we signed him a couple of years ago. Vitor Risch as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many of these players that have sort of been in the fringes the last couple of years that we're looking to break through and hoping that they're going to break through. And it's not just about, it's going to be a big pre-season for a lot of them.
Yeah, it will indeed.
James McAdoo, is it?
Yeah, Ryan McAdoo as well.
Ryan McAdoo, sorry. So yeah, there's a lot of talent that's on that bench. And a lot of them that can put a marker down.
Amos, what about for yourself? Is there anyone you're looking forward to seeing second half, maybe?
Yeah, I'd love to get eyes on Jeremy Monga. Obviously, a lot of attention has been on him. Recently joined the club, and I think there's a few asking the question: is he going to be signed for the youth teams and obviously developed, or is he going to actually have a part to play in pre-season? And as we mentioned in the pre-match show, it is these pre-season tours where players get an opportunity. Rico Lewis, Nico O'Reilly, some of the biggest examples for City. And it might be that the original plan gets thrown out the window because they impress and they show something. So I think those players will be sat there on the bench itching to get on, because I think, you know, as good as it is to see the starting 11 so strong, we know what most of these guys can offer. So I think they'll be the ones who, when they come on the pitch, will add that little bit of extra intensity, that extra bit of desire, and hopefully, from a City point of view, go and get a couple more goals.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Let's go pitch side then. Let's see what Sean, Scott and FG are making of that.
Yeah, thank you, Kel. Welcome back. Half-time here. The first 45 minutes of Enzo Maresca's era. Joining me pitch side, Scott Carson, Sean Wright Phillips. Sean, let's talk about that, because the tempo of that game at the start was quite high, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually very high. They had a few easy chances early on in the game. We could have been 2-0 down after 4 minutes, and one of the chances, to be honest, I don't know how they missed it, but then you could see the growth in the team as the half went on. We just got to watch out for that ball that goes wide. They keep using the wing backs very, very well. Yeah, I mean, DeMarco's been fantastic in that first half from an Inter Milan perspective. Scott, I want to ask you as well, Inter have played friendly before this, so this is City's first season match. Do you think as the game goes on you'll see more substitutions from City's side, or do you think a lot of players will play a lot of minutes here?
Yeah, I think there's going to be changes, obviously, at half-time. Already seen 5 or 6 of them warming up. You can obviously see Inter's got probably a bit more minutes in the legs. They just seem to control it a little bit better, but I think when we actually got the ball and calmed down a little bit, we were sending them back towards the goal. But I think especially in the first 15 minutes, we tried to do it maybe a little bit too quick, and we got caught on in the transition. We ended up conceding, like Sean said, a couple of chances, but in that first half, I think if we just kept on giving it to Semenyo, he was causing them all sorts of problems, and he was our star of the first half.
I mean, Sean, I bet you enjoyed that Antoine Semenyo performance, because it was, like Scott said, it was amazing. He was so electric, he did so well. He got an assist for Mubama's goal as well, but I mean, that half was very much about Semenyo and Savinho on the other side.
No, I did really enjoy it, because he played that wing play like an old school winger back in our day. When he got the chances to go, he went. I want to see a little bit more of that from Savinho, because I think they need to give him the ball a little bit earlier as well, because there's been a few situations where Kush has had the ball, he's pushed through, and instead of just giving it to him and letting him say go against DeMarco, he hasn't really done that, and he's waiting for it. But if they get him in the game like Semenyo, will be more of a problem.
We've seen a lot of the inverted win-back come back early in the first half. So when Donnarumma had the ball, the full-backs were quite wide. And then during the game, when we were in attack or in safe possession, Rico would go into the centre midfield spot. We've seen him take the ball a lot. I mean, from a defensive point of view, that transition, it's super important, isn't it? And it adds so much to the attack as well. So does that put a bit of doubt in the minds of the forwards for Inter to maybe to go inside and to follow Rico? Or?
No, to be fair to Inter, they started off pressing really well at the start, and they had two on the edge of the box ready to press. But obviously, when the fullbacks go inside, it's for the transition when it breaks down. But obviously, Inter have got class, really good players, and every time they won it back, they didn't even look at it, they just switched it out to the right-hand side, and that was their out ball. So they're probably having little discussions now inside how they can maybe make it a little bit more difficult for them to do that.
I mean, when the fullback goes inside, does the winger then have to defend a little bit more? So on the right-hand side, does Savinho potentially need to drop a little bit more? Because DeMarco was getting quite a bit of joy at some points during that transition with that ball, like you said.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I'll put my hands up here. I hated following my fullback, but I knew I had to do it, and I saw Enzo on the sideline, and there was an opportunity where DeMarco nearly got in again, but Enzo had already alerted Savinho to that, and then he collects the ball and he intercepts it. So as a winger, although you're on there for the attacking play, you still have to remember your defensive responsibilities.
Yeah, a lot of running for them City players in the first half. It's not as humid as you think it will. It's fully air-conditioned, the stadium, the roof is up. The noise is absolutely fantastic. What are you looking forward to seeing in the second half?
Obviously, it's going to be pretty much the same. There's going to be a few changes. It's all about getting minutes in the legs. Like Sean just said there, they went a little bit more forward. They've done it that just a little bit quicker. So hopefully they can get that fitness in the legs, and then come the next game in the last game of the trip, we'll be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're going to head back now to our Manchester studio. We'll be back to you at full time. At the minute, scores are level, but that was our first 45 minutes from Hong Kong.
Thank you so much, FG, Sean and Scott. We'll be getting more from them at full time and hopefully be speaking about a few more Manchester City goals. We can see the pitch there. I think they've just made the players out. So we'll hand over to our commentary team and we will be back at full time. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Paul, Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison. Over to you.